Bigfoot Collectors Club presents
terrifying tales from zombie Bigfoot's Cryptid Crypt. I know a ghost story about you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Zombie Bigfoot's Cryptid Crypt, the extra spooky version of Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share terrifying tales of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McHellion. With me always is your other host,
Fritz Johnson.
And our supernatural proguer,
Riley Bray.
He's back from the dead.
He is
Riley.
pro good again.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Good to be back.
We missed you last week. We're happy that you're there in musical spirit, but it never feels the same without you. So
No.
glad
We need your
you were
goo,
here.
Riley. We need your
Here to
No more
goo
vacations. That's what
all
I'm trying
over.
to say. You cannot take another vacation, Riley. You can't.
All
do
right,
it.
that's my allotted per 5 years.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Another 6 years. You can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So all month long, we'll be sharing extra creepy stories of high strangeness here on the regular feed and our Patreon, BCC The Other Side, over at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub. And we're coming to the end of the month, actually. I want to remind everybody that this Friday night, October 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, that's West Coast, baby, we're doing our Zombie Bigfoot's Clubhouse live stream where you guys get to come hang with us as we do the show for you live. That'll be on popsylounge.com and pick up an additional VIP pass to have a virtual meet and greet with either Bryce, Riley, or me after the show.
You want to.
By the way, if you want to take a look at what some of these Clubhouse live streams are, we've been dropping a few of our past, and I do mean deep past episodes, over on our YouTube channel. You can find that. It's just Bigfoot Collectors Club. We'll throw up a link in the episode of these show notes. It's a blast. So come check it out and then come be there live with us in person, because we do like interactive stuff with you guys during the show. Riley reads comments and we get to ask and answer questions. It's a great time.
That was a trip to see the still you put up of that old live stream. I was like, wow, look at just these young bucks had no idea what they were getting themselves into. My hair was so short.
Yeah, that was in your short hair phase.
Your hair grows so fucking fast, dude. It's like 6 months ago it's like short, and now it's like a growing horse's mane. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
My superpower.
Again, that's the only haircut you get during the show.
Right, of course.
Never do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Twice a decade.
Yeah. All right. Before we bring in our guests, let's check in with the Club Scouts who have been following the show on their favorite podcast app and dropping us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Riley, who is our 5-star Club Scout for the week?
This is from Odd Notions.
Ooh,
and the
I
title
like
is Delightful Jaunt into the World of the Weird. This is definitely my new podcast addiction. There are so many amazing stories to get the imagination buzzing. The interview style and banter make you feel as though you're sitting with a group of friends telling spooky stories by the campfire. Instant fan, 5 stars.
I've got an odd notion. You're going to be with us for a very long time.
Yeah,
Thank you very
welcome to
much.
the campfire.
Okay, well, our guest this week is a medium and an intuitive. You may know her from the House Medium podcast or her multiple appearances on Bigfoot Collectors Club and on The Other Side. Please welcome back with open hearts to the clubhouse, Adela Lavine. Adela.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
What's up, Adela?
It's been a while since we've had you over on the main feed. I'm so happy to have you over here.
I know, but I hear about you guys pretty much daily. Pretty much daily.
Yes.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
much daily in a reading. There, I'm like, I start every reading saying, "How did you find? Have I read for you before? No. How did you find me? Well, I heard you on." I go, "The Bigfoot Collectors Club." They're like, "The Bigfoot Collectors Club."
Oh,
And I'm
that's
like,
so great.
Spreading the good
all
word.
the time.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing.
Or on my podcast. So I feel like I'm here around you guys a lot
yeah.
because
You're
you're
we
well
go
loved.
back a long ways, all of us.
You
Oh my
were,
goodness.
I mean, Adela was our very first personal paranormal history story from Pete Gardner, who was telling us the time he went and saw a medium And it was Adela, and that's how
trippy is that?
She's been with us since really episode 1, which is wild.
And us
Yeah.
all going to see you do your thing was our first collective sort of paranormal field trip that we did for the show.
And what a mind blower too. Adela just blew all our minds in a single night.
Quite
And
a
we
way
were
to
all
start.
just like,
it was
oh
like-
my God.
Bryce was first, and then
Yep,
of
you remember
course
that.
I was like drawn to Bryce, and then he's
isn't?
like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure who you're talking about. I'm like, great. Really? The first person? I was like, I know this guy's like really connected to this world. So I was like somehow really drawn. And I came out of the ET closet, because I never told any alien stories. And
Oh,
I
that's
said
right.
to
Oh my
anyone,
God.
not even in life. So
Michael
it's-
had you out by the pool asking you alien questions afterwards.
Right.
He was like, we need to talk now.
I remember the thing about that situation was there was the thing where you were describing a room to Bryce, and he's like, no, this is not. You're like, there's a blanket on the bed, the paint screen, there's a window right here. And Bryce is like, this is just not ringing a bell for me. And then you went down like 8 people, and you got to a woman who's like, okay, I've been biting my tongue this whole time, but that room you were describing was my grandmother's bedroom to a T.
Oh
And it
my
was
God.
one of those things where
Oh,
someone
right.
else's relative had been like
Yeah.
pushing Bryce's relative aside to get to you because they were so
Right.
which was wild. So even in that miss for Bryce, it was a hit for somebody else who was in the room.
Well,
Go ahead, Bryce.
I was going to say that miss came after. That may have been a miss. That's right. I remember that, but that came after a direct hit because right before that, Adela like hit the nail on the head of the person that I was that had passed away in my life that I was thinking of. And Adela was sort of reading like this whole group, and she was going to, she didn't need any information. She was just going to sort of tell you how this person most likely had passed. And when she got to mine, it was just like, I remember her going slam, and I was like, it was my stepfather was killed in a car accident, and that's exactly who I was thinking of. And I was just like, here we go. A night of weird with the boys, and this
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and this cool new medium we just met. Can't wait to see what this is all about.
It's usually how it happens because I did a seance recently at the Wolves, which is in the Alexandria Hotel, which is it's a very haunted hotel. And they opened up this bar and they have an upstairs. I just did this like a week ago. And they gave raffle tickets. So the people really didn't know. They wanted me to do more people. It was 20 people and they wanted more. I was like, listen. Just like this is it.
Yeah.
Like this is what we're doing. And I like start the whole thing and everybody's like, they're in the Halloween spirit. So they're like, dee, 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 da, da, da. And I was like, I had my altar out. I stood up. I'm all looking like full on, seance like outfit from head to toe. It was awesome.
Nice.
And they're like chatting with each other. And so I had to go, like, listen up, this is going to be the real deal. And then I start with the one. Yeah, I was like, it is time. I walk around the room with incense and I'm like, kind of, and then their like attention is given. And it kind of happened like what you said. This one girl, I said, you across from me. I see this woman talking in your ear. She says something about May or June. And she goes, that's my mom. Her birthday's May. She died in June. And I was like, all right, well, let's do
Here
this
we
seance.
go.
And this time I let the others in the space hang out too. Not
You didn't send anyone out of the room? Any pesky resident ghosts or spirits?
No, I did see one man, like people kept feeling people behind them. They kept feeling like something. And these 2 girls, and then right when they're saying this, I saw, not in my mind's eye, like a man, like, like in the movies when it's like, and then it goes.
Whoa.
And he was just like, it was like, hello, like, what are you doing? Like staring at me. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. I mean, I think it's cool. Other people do not.
Yeah.
They're like, I feel something behind me. And, but yeah, that's usually how I like to come out if I can, come out swinging if I can.
Yeah. Well, you do. And I mean, I think there were direct hits in that first gallery we did with you. And that episode I was going to say is on the other side. It's one of our first episodes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Go back and
I
listen to
remember when Riley put the initial cut together, there was like a lot of me and maybe some of us but definitely me crying. Like it was so personal.
Yes.
And I remember
That's awesome.
I remember calling Riley and I was like, I think we should take
Maybe they'll trim a
some
little out.
some of this stuff out. Maybe the
That's
parts with me
great.
sobbing. I mean, now knowing our community, I would probably be like, yeah, let's do
Right.
it. So
We were
I
finding
I
our
want a
footing.
director's
Yeah.
sob cut.
yeah,
just
we
like-
should do.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll release the crying cut. Maybe we'll
That's
see.
pretty classic to how it works with me and people. That's what I'm saying. That girl started crying right off the bat. It's like I try to tell people like I'm going to do this for real, so I don't know how much, but I think what I remember is that I had never talked about aliens or anything to anyone. I'm like, so I'm just gonna, for the first time, go on a podcast and tell a bunch of strangers. Okay, guess this is what we're doing because I never talked about it. So for me, that was like a door opened for sure.
Yeah,
You were the first of many to have that same experience on this show.
it's true.
But I've talked about a lot of weird stuff. So that
Yeah.
was the one thing I just kind of kept to myself for a long time.
I love that.
Yeah, but I'm glad. I'm
Me
really
too.
glad.
I'm
You're
glad
out of
we
the saucer
brought it
closet
out.
now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, great. Well, here's what we're going to do tonight. This is an L Files episode, which means we're going to be digging into some listener stories. But we're going to do something a little bit differently this time around. We're going to read them, and then we're going to have what Adela does, or some similar to what you might do, I would say, over on the House Medium, which is you're going to kind of peer into across the veil or behind the veil. I don't know how you'd phrase that.
Behind, that's her book.
And see if
Yeah.
peering into the narrow
plug.
room.
Oh,
Peering
yeah,
into
yeah.
the narrow room.
Very
Yes.
narrow. Yes, there we go.
So you can take a peek in that narrow room, and then
I love that.
maybe tell us what you think is going on with this person's experience in the letter. So we'll do
Okay.
that.
Great.
But first, we have an important story to, I'm sure you guys have been dying. It's been out for a couple weeks now as you're listening to this. You're dying for our take. Who knows? This might be old news by then, but we got to address it. This is a story.
This is what we do.
This is what we do, and we got to read it to you. Riley, get ready because we have some
BCC News.
Yes.
Bigfoot reportedly spotted from train in remote part of Colorado.
What?
This comes from the DenverGazette.com. Every once in a while, the Out There Colorado team will receive a report of a Bigfoot sighting. Very rarely do those reports come with photos or video footage to support the claim. Thus, in most cases, the report is very difficult for our team to cover. That wasn't the case with the Bigfoot report that landed in my inbox on October 10th when Shannon Parker reached out to share an experience that she and her husband, Stetson, the most Colorado name that's ever been given a baby, had on the popular Durango to Silverton train ride over the past weekend.
Durango to Silverton. Wow.
According to Shannon, they were seated near the back of the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad train when they spotted movement on a mountain hillside. The two were shocked when they noticed it wasn't your average animal, instead moving about on 2 feet. The person beside them grabbed their phone and started recording while Shannon snapped several photos. The video footage that was captured is compelling, clearly showing the Bigfoot creature walking up and then squatting down.
Yes.
In my conversation with Shannon, she noted that while she and her husband have never been naysayers when it comes to Bigfoot, seeing was believing. She found it odd that the majority of those on the train passed the scene without noticing the creature. It didn't cause any sort of uproar, and had those in the back seats of the locomotive not seen it, it would have gone unnoticed. When she shared the photos and video footage with train employees, she reports they claimed they had never seen something like it before, but that they thought it could be a legitimate sighting. Here's a zoomed in version of the photo, which I'll throw up on the Instagram that Shannon shared. If you guys take a look at that here, I can put the link. I sent you the video, Adela.
Yeah.
Gives a better look at the creatures that squatted down. The video footage also captured gives a clearer look at the large creature's movement, showing it walking as well. While Bigfoot sightings aren't super common in Colorado, they're far from unheard of. After all, there's even a destination dedicated to the creature, the Sasquatch Outpost, located in Bailey, which I've stopped at numerous times on road trips between
Hell
KC
yeah.
and LA.
Awesome.
more than 100 reports of Centennial State Bigfoot sightings have been documented in recent years. All right, so what do you guys think about this latest mass viral Bigfoot sighting? Let's start with Bryce, our Expedition Bigfoot experts.
Mhm.
Sure. Yeah, well, at first I liked the context of this video being taken. A couple on a train, and they seemed to be they were the only couple too. So if you think like you're gonna like hoax something like that, you'd at least like try and make a bigger commotion. But and it is in like I think it's like state park territory. So this thing is in the middle of nowhere. I liked it until I saw the face because I think I looked at TMZ. You zoom in real close, and then you see sort of this face, and I was like, "Wait, that looks a little familiar." Sort of like looks like the Jack Lynx Sasquatch almost. And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" I don't know. And I was like, but that for me, it's sort of I lost my flagpole on it, but I still like it. I think
the Jack Lynx? What's the Jack Lynx sass? Can you say what that is?
I guess, I should elaborate.
thing.
It just sort of looked like a mask. To it looked like a popular.
There's a Sasquatch in the beef jerky ads from about 5 years ago, and it looks a lot like that costume.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a gas station outside Las Vegas that has a giant one.
Oh yeah,
I think it's Terrible's gas station.
It looks like
deep
the
cut.
I feel
face
like I've
looks like
seen that
Chaka
costume
from Land
before.
of the Lost.
Yes.
Oh, I
Right.
love that show. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
Also, can you never use the expression "lost my flagpole" on this
I loved it.
show again?
He lost his flagpole for that sassy squat.
Yeah, come on, man. I had to bring the Bigfoot flag
didn't
down.
even notice.
Ugh.
Man.
Yeah. Bringing the Bigfoot flag down. Yeah, I don't know. What about you guys? What did you think?
Same, literally same. I was
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, cool!" And then I was like, "That's somebody just that." Because like if it's a train going by,
Right.
it's odds are you're gonna be. It's like a smart hoax,
Right.
but
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels very kind of. If this turns out that it was just a viral marketing campaign for that beef jerky company, then honestly, chef's kiss, brilliant.
Well,
Great
it
work.
worked great for Expedition Bigfoot coming back on Discovery on the same night. So I was
Oh,
happy
that's true.
to.
You got those Bigfoot
I
Google
was
search
like,
results.
Yeah, exactly.
A little
Hey,
bump
maybe
there.
we did
Capitalize off that moment for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Adela, what did you think?
Same.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see that close, but I kind of went down the same lane you guys did. I was like, okay, they're going really slow on the train. I've been on a train. There's nothing to film exciting. And it would be different if it was like they were filming for a while, and just being silly, like taking pictures of each other. And then you're like, what's that? But it was like very focused on it. It seemed very planned. And when I looked at the fur, just looked too shiny. I don't know.
Very silky
It
coat
looked, too,
on
it,
this
looked too, it
Bigfoot.
looked too clean.
So
yeah.
you're
Now I want to
suggest-
say though, I'm not throwing Stetson under the bus.
Yeah, no.
A good
So
Colorado like Stetson. I think it maybe was just an outside person that was like, I'm going to be in a Bigfoot costume by this train, and this is going to be.
Oh no,
funny.
you're right. You're right. I do, but I kind of agree with you. I thought that somebody thought it would be fun to mess with people,
Oh.
but I wasn't sure. It would be very elaborate if they all planned it. I mean, that would be kind of really
which is
elaborate.
not out of the realm of
Not-
But
also
possibility.
not out of-
could
yeah.
be. Yeah.
But I look, as we discussed over on the other side a few weeks ago, when I faked a
Yeah,
very
these things
convincing
are
YouTube
easier than
photo
one thinks.
with a dish.
You little rat bastard.
Yeah, you're a rapscallion.
Like, I mean, look, if I had access to a pretty decent Bigfoot costume and I was within an hour of standing
You
in
make
the
me
brush
sick.
as a train passed by, especially if I'm like a 19 or 20-year-old kid, I 100% would do something like this because,
Yeah.
look, this is the whole thing is you don't need to make any money off it. Just the bragging rights of going viral this day and age is a good reason enough to do it. For me, the giveaway was the way this thing walked and then how it adjusted its leg after it squatted down. It looked very, very human to me.
Yeah. I
was
even
very
thought
Wookiee
the squatting was too like it didn't look like a being that's like clumping around. It just was kind of smooth and then came down very smooth. I just immediately thought somebody is having a good time with these people on the train. I mean, I used to work when I was younger, I worked at Universal Studios and I used to go by the trams acting like I was a celebrity, and people didn't know because we were like behind the scenes,
like covering your face.
Yeah, I would be like, please, and people were like, "What's over there? What's that?"
That's so funny.
So I was like that age. Yeah, I was about like 20.
Yeah.
So I could see someone that age just having a good time.
Well,
I do like how well it blended in with the brush in the area. That was pretty cool.
yeah, it was super camouflage.
yeah.
And if it is a person in a costume, they're taking a bold risk because there are predators out there. It did look like it was in the middle of some hill.
Big men with big guns.
Yeah,
trying to catch themselves to Sasquatch.
Also true. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So
Colorado.
there you go. Colorado
All
Squatch.
right. Well, hopefully by the time this drops, maybe that person will have come forth. But it's certainly fun, and boy, oh boy,
Add it to the Bigfoot files.
let everyone in our community know if there's a Bigfoot video out there, we've seen it. It's don't feel pressure to send it to us. We've seen it.
But it's nice to get.
It
mad.
is.
Yeah, that's like a badge of honor. Your friend said, "Hey, I got a few of those. Bryce, look at this.
Yeah.
Bryce."
Yeah, they're
kinda-
going to the
kinda fun.
experts. They want to
Yeah.
know what the experts
nice.
think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Although that now I'm promoting it more, but I've been sent Sasquatch so many times that you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course, yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
people are like, have you seen this? And I'm like, yes,
yeah,
I have.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen it.
It's great. It's
If
great.
you think we haven't seen it, we've seen it. All right.
you
Think
Well,
again.
let's see if Adela can see what's going on in your realm right after this. This episode is brought to you by Miracle Maid. The spooky season is here, and that means you might be sleeping a little less soundly because the Shadow Man is watching you from the dark corners of your room. You may not be able to do anything about him, but you can do something about those spooky old sheets of yours.
Yeah, did you know your temperature at nighttime can have one of the greatest impacts of your sleep quality? Did you know that? If you wake up too hot or too cold, man, not good. I highly recommend you check out Miracle Maid's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Maid uses silver-infused fabrics, which helps keep away werewolves, and makes temperature-regulating bedding so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long.
These space-age sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresher 3 times longer than other non-silver cool sheets. So no more gross orders.
Did you know that traditional bed sheets can harbor more bacteria than a toilet seat? Ew! It can lead to acne, allergies, and stuffy noses, and it's just fucking disgusting. Miracle Maid offers a whole line of self-cleaning, eco-friendly bedding such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent 99% of bacteria and require 3 times less laundry. And you know that Shadow Man loves munching on all that gross bacteria while you're out cold.
That's facts. Miracle Made sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than bed sheets used by some 5-star hotels.
Go to trymiracle.com/BCC to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code BCC at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%.
And Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So, if you aren't 100% satisfied, you get a full refund.
Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Maid. Go to trymiracle.com/BCC and use the code BCC to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. BCC to treat yourself and destroy the Shadow Man who feed on your bacteria. All right. It's time for the L Files. Remember, you can write to us at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com with your own personal paranormal history and stories of high strangeness that you yourself have encountered, like tonight's writers. And make sure to follow Bigfoot Collectors Club on Instagram and Threads and on BCC Pod. which is over at TikTok. All right, it's time to venture into the catacombs. Let's open Zombie Bigfoot's Cryptid Crypt and dip into some of these terrifying elephants.
All right, well, I'll kick it off. This letter begins, "Hey, BCC boys," and Adela. I added that part.
Yay.
But wouldn't it be impressive, though, if it didn't have those already there?
Super. I would already
Points
believe
already.
them. Right, already.
Riley, you sound extra buttery tonight. Can I just
Yeah.
say?
Oh, I think it's just a relaxing week off in Mexico.
Yeah, vacation
you know?
voice.
Yeah, you're in the butter
I'm
zone.
in that smooth
Good for you.
vacation
Good for
voice.
you. You've earned it.
This email might be a bit frantic since I just woke up from the wildest dream I've ever had, and I'm trying to write it all down before I forget it. Love it already. Great. In my dream, there was a giant humanoid monster chasing me. I'm
Ew.
pretty sure it was like a centaur, but it had a spider body instead of a horse body.
Oh.
It was hyper intelligent and kept knowing exactly where I was running to, and I was struggling to get away. Then suddenly at one point, it stopped. I heard it mutter something, and all I heard was the word dream. It started looking all around and up at the sky, and then ran off in a different direction. After that, I woke up in a panic. I almost immediately realized what had happened. Somehow the monster in my dream became lucid as it was chasing me and realized it was part of my dream. I think it was trying to figure out a way to break out of my dream so it could find me in the real world and finish the job.
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's even possible for an NPC in a dream to become lucid and start thinking for itself. I'm a bit scared to go back to sleep now. Hopefully it doesn't show up again.
Wow.
Thanks for the awesome podcast. I've listened to every episode you guys have released on both the main feed and the other side. Love you guys. Corey. Damn, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.
Wow.
So we have a spider centaur possibly becoming lucid in a dream.
That's
Yes.
killer. I love that.
All right. So what do you think about this, Adela?
So I'm trying to picture this. So he's basically saying it's a spider head and legs.
Human head,
Human
and
head.
Torso.
spider legs and body.
Oh, okay.
Creepy.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really check boxes to paranormal stuff. If it was more of a spidery type of thing, that very much check boxes. But the human head isn't really an entity that I have seen over the years, with a spider body. I will say that I've gotten a flood of dreams since Michael's been on my podcast, because now everybody is kind of looking at their dreams, and it's actually totally possible. But I can say this: the fact that it told him dream, what I see is that there was something talking to him, but it's not an NPC. It isn't something that can turn itself into something physical here. It is something trying to tell it, you're in this other realm, just stay in it. So I don't feel like it's anything terrible. It's nothing bad. I kind of almost feel like what he was seeing wasn't really looking like that. Because a lot of those types of beings, they'll change the imagery, and clearly he's a video game person, into an image that he's familiar with and he likes and kind of relates to. So I think the message...
Or might scare him, maybe?
Or might scare him. But I don't think... Honestly, they're not usually trying to scare you. They're trying to get your attention. It's like putting a mask on that's very like vibrant and big. Like think of like sugar skulls and things like this. And there's a lot of cultures that do this. Like, hey, they believe in that, like scaring off spirits, put masks on. These type of beings sometimes will put these kind of masks on to kind of get your attention. I feel like he was connecting to something, but it definitely has nothing to do with the imagery.
My interpretation of the moment where the thing was muttering and he heard the word dream was that this thing was chasing him, and then it went, oh, wait a minute, I'm in a fucking dream. and then left, and all he could hear was him recognizing that he was in a dream. So is it possible that it could have been some type of what you said, it's not an NPC, it's not a non-player character, it's something else from another realm that was dipping in or sharing the same plane that the dreamer was on, Corey, and then realized that, oh, I'm in this kid's reality where this isn't real. I'm going to get out of here.
No, because they're usually meeting you between the worlds. It's not like he's going into your dream. You're going halfway there, and they're coming halfway to you. So what spirits tend to do and entities tend to do is they don't want you to wake up, because if you wake up, you come out of that realm. So it's like when somebody suddenly goes and dreams about a loved one and they're talking to them, they'll purposely create a kind of crazy scenario. Let's say your grandfather's like, hanging out at a club, and you're like, I've never seen my grandfather at a club. So you're so distracted with, what are we doing here? This seems kind of wacky, that he can keep you there. Soon as you go, oh my God, he died, you wake up out of it. So I absolutely 100% know this being was saying, stay dreaming, like stay here, just stay in this realm, because my sense and my read on this person is they really want something like this to happen. They really want to connect to that realm, and it's like, keep dreaming then, stay here.
Got it.
But
so
of
they
course
don't have
it
to worry
freaked him
about
out.
giant humanoid spiders breaking into
No.
our reality and eating him.
There's
Okay,
no-
good. I mean, listen, we didn't get a follow-up, so either he didn't dream about it again, or the spider found him and ate him in his bed, and this is the last anyone's heard of Court.
If the
Could
centaur
be.
spider is listening, write in and let us know.
Please do.
Yeah.
Let us know how you like our reality and how
Or
we
you
can
can
get to
come
wherever
visit.
you came from.
Go to Adela's house.
Can come visit one of us, right, guys?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See,
sure.
Bryce is down.
I know how to handle these dream monsters.
Yeah. So I just think, I believe it's half what he thought.
Okay. Good.
And maybe even less than half, because he absolutely thought it was like it. People always tend to think that it was interfering in his dream, when he was really kind of drifting into another realm, getting a peek.
Cool. Love it. Cold turkey might be great on sandwiches, especially with Thanksgiving coming up soon. That's right, time for leftovers. But you know what? There's a better way to break your bad habits. Don't go see an exorcist. Check out our sponsor, Fume.
Yes, they look at breaking bad habits from a different point of view. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit, huh?
Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics sucking on a battery, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals and who knows what's, Fume uses delicious flavors.
You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with, guess what, movable parts and magnets for fidgeting. Guys, it's not just fun, it's extra fun.
Yeah, what does your air device have?
Yeah, it gives your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. Riley, you've used Fume. You enjoy it, don't you?
I do enjoy the Fume, and even just as like not for breaking a bad habit, I like it. I like having it on my desk. It tastes kind of nice and crispy, and it's and I do like it. It's like these little satisfying little clickety clankety with the magnets and the steel, and it's
You're a gadget boy. You like your
it's
gadgets.
just a nice little thing that just there's nothing wrong with it, and it's a nice thing to hold in your hands. It's weighted beautifully. It's just
We're tactile boys.
There
It's
you
a great
go.
little-
We
it's a
like
great little
toys.
BCC listeners, get your Fume air device right now. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard. But switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories. There's no reason that can't be you.
Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use code BCC to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use code BCC to save an additional 10% off your order today.
head to tryfume.com/BCC and use code BCC to save an additional 10% off your order today.
Fume!
Air device.
Flavored air device.
right, here we go. Here's the next one.
Okay.
Dear Michael, Bryce, and Super Riley. And Adela, of course.
Of course.
My name is Fred, and I live in the Ozarks region of Arkansas, a great hiding place for Bigfoot. I've been listening to your podcast on Spotify for just less than a year now, but have loved every minute, and I'm currently going back through and re-listening to each episode. I know, the Patreon. I'm getting there. And all of it, take your sweet time, baby. In all of my life, I cannot say I have experienced any serious paranormal activity. However, I know a lot of people that have, and I have a really interesting fact I just learned that I wanted to share. So here I go. Now, Adela, this might be a secondhand story. Now,
That's okay.
My now ex-girlfriend, who I'll refer to as Anna, grew up in a home where there was rampant poltergeist activity. Her and her mother, as well as siblings and other family members, corroborated that something about this house was just off. They would regularly feel the overbearing pressure of being closely watched, as if monitored by someone who wasn't there, and who would regularly hear movement, and they would regularly hear movement throughout the house when it was otherwise empty. To top it off, there were times they found the dining room chairs stacked neatly atop the dining room table after just leaving the room and returning just a moment later. However, one night in particular, Anna and her mother were alone in the house. Anna had been put to bed by this point, but her mother was up and wrapping up before heading to bed, just going to the kitchen for a drink. As she rounds the corner to the kitchen, a deafening silence fills the house. The hairs on her arms stand up, and the atmosphere is tense. What she saw was every single door, drawer, cupboard, and pantry wide open as if awaiting her. She froze briefly in shock before booking it back down the hall, grabbing Anna in her arms and running out of the house. As she ran out, a cacophony of bangs rang through the house as presumably every door closed at once. Again, there was never anything I experienced while around Anna, but she was very in touch with her spirits, such as her ancestors, and she did practice paganism later in life when I knew her. Coincidence? Lastly, in relation to the recent events of the UAP leaks from the Pentagon and confirmed footage, I did a little digging and found that one of the videos from 2004, the year of my birth, oh God,
we're so old.
Baby,
Ouch.
Yeah, you really are a baby when I called you a baby. Came from a pilot who was stationed on the USS Nimitz. I believe the video is of the Tic Tac object observed over the ocean by the Navy pilots, and I think this is the video with audio. To my point, though, my uncle was for a long time stationed on the USS Nimitz and as an engineer, and I had been told many stories about the ship in question. I never knew I had such a close connection to an event, and I found it cool. Hope you guys do too. Well, we certainly do.
That is
That's
cool.
right.
Wow.
Nice.
The
That's
Nimitz
really
cool.
connection. What about this poltergeist activity from his ex-girlfriend Anna?
Okay. So just want everybody to know that usually on my podcast, people come on and then they'll kind of validate. So hopefully people will write to you and tell you what they think what I said. That would be cool. So you guys can get an update. But this is checking all the boxes. This is like level 15 paranormal activity. This is not common. I actually just did a story that's like worse than this one, but similar.
That was creepy. You called it a level 20 in that
This was a
episode.
level 20.
What does your
That
level
was a-
go to?
It depends. There's sky's the limit, really.
Oh my
there
God.
is
I've never
no.
gotten to that.
But
I'm
I
usually
can
a 1
tell.
to 10 kind of guy. But
Yeah,
wow, okay.
there's like when there's doors slamming and someone on my podcast she got pushed and things like
Oh,
that.
hell no. Okay.
Yeah, it was
gotcha.
like bad. This is level 10 because of the doors and the drawers opening. The chairs on the table is a little bit hard to kind of say that would be something they would do. That would take a lot of energy for those type of beings. But when you were reading it, I did see a man in that space, and I did see that there was somebody that was purposely. It wasn't like I don't like dropping in because I can see him, and it's not pleasant. So it's not an energy I want to totally drop into. So I kind of do like a standing at a distance, you know, or pushing him at a distance. This was definitely on purpose. This was definitely sinister. This is not grandpa. This is not grandma. I believe her. The door's opening. The door's open. This is very, very something common, but not common. Let's just say it is a checkbox. It happens, but it's not. That's why it's a level 10. That's kind of what I mean by when I say 11 to, like, these are rare. Those are rare. Right. And chair on top. My feeling is that this person, this man I see, had definitely something to do with the space, definitely wanted to mess with her. I kind of get like the vision of like the 1950s, and he's from that era. And I get like a pain even in my stomach, like a stabbing pain. So I do feel like he was that kind of guy, like, you know, the guy who, like, you know, was running with gangs, getting into trouble, but worse than that, you know what I mean? Like he would kill somebody for their money type of thing. So it's very gangstery. Yeah, because I can, when I start to feel it in my stomach and it starts to turn, I don't like it. So I kind of disconnect from it. But she is gifted a little bit. So what happens is they see that little antenna up and they're like, well, she's even perfect to mess with the most, the girl.
Do these entities get like a signal boost when there's someone who is in touch? Like, you know how, like, if your cell service sucks,
it's a good way to
in
think
your
about it.
Apartment, and you get one of those towers from the cell phone company that helps boost the signal. Is just her mere presence giving them strength?
No, her presence doesn't give them strength. Just like my presence doesn't give them strength. They just get excited because someone's going to see them and feel them. So you're putting up like a Wi-Fi signal and they're being drawn to it. Mm-hmm. And then there's those that just like to mess with people. It's not always like a purposeful thing. Sometimes it's because they're annoyed and no one appreciated how they died. But this guy, not every spirit, and I would say 90% of the time when I do readings, they do want to evolve. They want to grow when they die. But there is a percentage that just don't care about that. They're like, I died, whatever, fuck everybody, and I'll just mess with these people. And that definitely is kind of what I feel this one was doing. The drawers open, and I also will just throw in, and maybe they'll write into you guys, I just go down the stairs, and maybe, I don't know if it's a basement or something going down, just feels not good at all. Yeah, okay. It's icky. This is a real one. And it's not
seal
good.
Off your basement, I think, is what Adela is saying.
Hopefully Anna moved out of that house.
Hopefully, again. I hope they moved out. Right.
Yes, if Fred is still in touch with Anna, maybe they should have her
cleanse. Yeah,
cleanse and listen to this episode so they can hear what Adela is saying.
Yeah, exactly. So sorry she went there, but that shit is no joke and can be quite alarming.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd shit my pants right there in the kitchen. Are you fucking kidding me? No thanks. Take that, Poltergeist.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce, what do we have?
Let's do another one. Here we go. Hey, BCC boys. Longtime fan and Patreon supporter. Thank you guys for all the content and for being open and honest about your journeys. Shout out to Michael. I'm also from Kansas City.
What?
Here are two of my own experiences. If they're too long, I understand. First and most recent story. I work part-time at a large truck yard. It spans about 30 acres with large empty lots and huge stacks of semi-truck parts. The empty lots are portions of the property that are essentially open desert ground. The truck yard is situated in a vast valley, completely surrounded by mountains. It's also in an industrial area, without skyscrapers or any buildings over 2 or 3 stories tall. I mention all this to paint the picture that, with a clear sky, you can see for miles in most directions. Something I can't really explain happened last Friday, August 18th. I was driving a forklift, returning from the opposite side of the property after dropping off a pallet. As I drove more or less north toward the shop, a massive shadow passed over me. It moved slowly over the forklift in a very controlled manner, heading in the direction of the shop. Then, about 50 yards ahead, it abruptly changed direction, almost vanishing as it moved so fast, a sharp left, and then gone. As I watched the shadow, I also scanned the sky, looking back and forth to see what was either so close or so large that it cast a shadow big enough to cover the forklift. I saw only blue sky. No cloud, plane, helicopter, or bird. Nothing was there. Just a vast blue void. No sound, no wind, and no one else around. I'm still baffled. Any thoughts on what it could have been, or have you heard of anything similar happening?
Well, let's take a pause right there and let's address that question. This seems strange. So it implies that something was overhead and blocking the sun, but I wonder if this shadow was actually moving across the ground and wasn't actually anything projected from overhead. What do you think, Adela?
Yeah, because I was kind of like waiting the same as you guys. I was like, okay, so they're like staring at the sky and there's nothing. There's no craft. There's no anything. My first, and this is another like stomach a little bit turner, but not too bad. But my first feeling, this is very classic of what people call shadow people and how they operate. But this is definitely spirits. This is definitely the way a spirit could show themselves, because you can't. So in other words, when people see shadow people, it's because your sight can't see the fullness of who they are. Like when I saw that guy in the seance, if someone else saw it, they might just see the shadow of it, where I could just see his face and everything because of my sight. So my feeling is this was more spirit, not creature or
silent UFO mothership.
Yeah, I don't feel. I went there and I just didn't see it. You know, it didn't fit. They like to use light. They like to use like orbs or colors coming out. They're not. It doesn't fit. It very much fits the way the spirit world moves, for sure.
I don't know if this is from Kansas City or where this took place. I wonder. Because I'm trying to think if I ever experienced any phenomena like that growing up. The sky's big there. You know what I mean? People who come to visit are like, wow, the sky is really big out here. So I'm trying to think if I've ever, you can see like shadows of birds and stuff that fly over. I mean, you can see that anywhere. But I almost even got a vibe of, and I guess if this is in the Midwest, maybe not as much, but like kind of that like shadow Bigfoot feeling, like that you guys have seen on Expedition Bigfoot, Bryce. I don't know. Something bumped me.
Was it
about
at night though? I was trying to.
No, it was in the middle of the day. And we don't know how big the shadow was. He just said it was a very large shadow passed over. So I don't know if we're talking 5 feet across or 10 or 20 or 30. I don't know how big this thing was.
It was big enough to cover a forklift.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
A forklift-sized shadow.
Yeah. Could have been a cloud. But,
It could have been.
Yeah, they said no cloud, though.
Yeah.
No, I feel like something really happened, but what I see, and I'll throw this out for him. I mean, I just see that it was like a group of people. It wasn't one person. If I'm seeing it spirit, they look like a bunch of people that had something to do with that land. It had nothing to do with anything, anything to do with any buildings or anything, or him. They look like the land was what they were upset about. Maybe he was digging in that land. And this is very classic of like a Native American energies. They just want you to respect the land. They won't mess with you. They're not going to be mean. They're like contrary to what people think. They're very respectful, but they like the respect back. So they'll make themselves known. I just saw like a mass group of people. Okay. I didn't see like one or two, like a guy and so I'd be curious to know what that land was about.
Yeah, where that truck yard is. Cool. All right, I like it. All right, let's move on to that second story in the L file there.
Yeah, sure, let's do it. A few pertinent details before I go into this second story. I grew up in rural Missouri. My parents had built a house on 27 acres of land, and the home sat in the middle of the property. Thus, it was a good distance away from the road. It was also completely fenced and gated since we owned livestock. We always had a dog as well. Lastly, there were no trees near the house. We could see almost the entire plot of land from the home. Well, one night, my brother, a friend, and I were in my brother's room in the basement. I was about 10 years old, and my brother is about 4 years older than me. While we were playing a game on my OG PlayStation, someone yelled. I'm not sure who yelled or even what they shouted. I'm pretty sure it wasn't me, but I know it redirected all our attention to the small window in the upper left corner of the room's back wall. This window was in a window well designed mainly as an emergency exit. We had opened it earlier that night because the weather was cool and the room had gotten warm. As we all looked at the window, we saw a large Caucasian hand pressed against the screen. The screen was bending slightly from the pressure. The position of the hand suggested it was a left hand with a flat palm and fingers pointing up. I later realized that to place your hand like that, you'd have to be quite low. But the window was level with the ground in the well, and the well was about 3 to 4 feet deep. We know what you're talking about there out in the Midwest.
I grew up with these window wells, and it's really hard to tuck yourself down there and hide. So this thing would have to be coming up from under the ground.
Okay, because I'm not familiar with that. Okay, good.
I don't recall anyone screaming or getting scared. We just dashed out of the room and up the stairs, bursting through the door. Both my mom and dad were in their usual spots in the living room. My brother told my dad, who then did what any farmer would do. He quickly pulled out a gun, as if from thin air, and headed out the front door and around the house. We ran to the back.
Like as if from thin air.
Yeah. I got it. We ran to the back. It's in the side of the Lazy Boy next to the remote control. Is where it is. We ran to the back sliding door, expecting the intruder to be fleeing towards the back of the property to escape an angry dad with a gun. But soon after, my dad casually walked back from that direction, gun in hand. My mom quickly checked the front window to see if maybe the intruder had run the other way, but there was no sign of anyone. My dad spent a good while searching the property. When he returned, he checked the basement. The screen was unlocked, and there was no evidence of anyone being there.
Screen was untouched. I think that's important. Untouched.
Oh, okay. Untouched, and there was no evidence of anyone being there. Here's where it gets interesting. About 5 years later, now living in Florida, I was chatting with my best friend and now brother-in-law. He recounted an incident from a few years prior.
Best friend married your sister? Whoa.
Yeah, that's the story.
I'd be scared. If I was your best friend, I'd be scared of your dad and his gun.
Oh my God. He recounted an incident from a few years prior when he and his cousin were playing video games in his room. The window was open, and suddenly they both noticed a large white hand pressed flat against the screen. They searched the entire home and property with his parents, but found no trace of anyone. We've tried our best to compare the dates, and we believe it was likely the same year and season for both incidents, but we can't be certain. But it feels like the same hand at the same time. Anyway, thanks for reading my stories. You guys are awesome. Keep it going. Regards, Patrick.
This is a new one. This is a new one, Patrick.
Yeah.
Disembodied hands showing up in two different people's lives who are later connected, but at the time were strangers. And what do you get from this?
Well, I have to ask you guys, since you're more familiar. So you can't, can a person get down to that window? You could a window like that.
Yeah, you could fit your whole body down in there, but you'd be like
your whole body there, but your whole body would be in front of the window.
Right.
It's like basically a little. So picture like the house. You're standing at the back of the house, and you look down at the side of the house. There's a basement window. And it's set in like a half moon window well. Mm-hmm. So you can hop down into the half moon and crouch down, and you could look in the window.
Sometimes people gate them with bars so people can't get down in there, you know?
We'd see raccoons down there. We'd see all sorts of things hanging out.
Right.
So that's scary.
If there was just a hand moving up, it would imply that it was below the window, which would be below the dirt line in the window well. It would be hard.
So you couldn't lay down and then just go, let me creep my hand up here. There's no way.
You're just
or go from the side or something.
You probably only have a few inches. If you could come down, but you'd probably only have maybe 6 inches, 7 inches between the window and that window well. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
Arguably, without seeing it, you know what I mean?
Right. I guess the first vision I had is that I felt like it was like a real person. That's just the first vision I had, but I could be wrong. I didn't see any paranormal stuff in their house or any spirit. It is just like you said, very, very rare that a spirit would be going to the same houses doing the same thing. But I saw like a man's hand and like a blue sleeve. I kept seeing like a blue sleeve for some reason, which reminds me of like a worker, like a maintenance type of person, like almost like he was in uniform. I just don't see it as a spirit. I mean, yeah, it just doesn't match. It doesn't check any box of how they operate, because I think by the time the dad came and all this stuff, someone could have just, booked off.
And let's not forget, dads love playing pranks on just a bunch of kids playing video games.
It felt very pranky to me. That's what I'm saying. It kind of felt like that. It doesn't check the boxes of how the spirit world acts. They're not really going on the outside. They're going to be on the inside of your house.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of rare that they're on the outside.
But
and if they are on the outside, they're doing both. They're going to be on both.
What do you think about the coincidence or the synchronicity that they both had an experience around the same time?
Yeah, I feel like someone's pranking them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's just my
I love
my
it.
gut.
Hey, this is how you know you're dealing with a legit intuitive and medium, because if she's not going to see something, she's going to tell you, I don't see it.
I am known for being honest.
Still creepy. It's still a creepy story.
No,
Love it.
let me make this statement. I at 10 times would be more afraid of a real person ever than I would be afraid of it being a spirit. I'm way more afraid of the living.
It's a spirit hand. Yeah, exactly.
I would be like, please God, let that be a spirit. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, Adela, thank you so much. This went by too fast. We'll have to have you back on and maybe do a few more of these in the future. I know I have another one set aside for you. Where can people find you? Where can they find the podcast? Tell us all about it.
Awesome. Yes, you can find me on all the platforms. Instagram is where I post the most, and I post on TikTok as well. Adela Lavine. It's pretty easy. And my website's adelalavine.com. If you're interested in my services and telling me how much you love the Bigfoot Collectors Club, feel free. But my podcast is The House Medium, and you can get that wherever you listen to podcasts. What I do is you send in your paranormal experience to me at thehousemedium@gmail.com. And if I think it kind of fits something that is in that bill, I'll have you on and I'll tell you what I see. So
you get to be on the show with Adela.
Yes. And that's always interesting because people are nervous.
Sure. But it's fun. It's very endearing, and you get some really good stories from people.
I do. And I want people to hear from people, and what I find is that people are just like, oh my gosh, I have this story. I'm so afraid, but I heard someone else do it, so I'm going to go for it. People are afraid to kind of come out of, you know what I mean? So I think people are going like, oh, I'm not the only one, or okay, I feel a little bit better, so it's just coming from the real mouths of them. And then, and I think it kind of I'm trying to normalize it basically. And also, I forgot to say, I do classes and things like this. I am teaching a class how to meditate and connect to the ET people and things like that. So you can find all that stuff on my website. Thank you.
We love
Thanks,
it.
Guys.
And I'm going to plug too, earlier this year, Adela and our friend Linda, the ghost hunter, came to Riley's house to investigate a possible lingering spirit in the house, and that we've been told is the scariest episode that we've ever done. That's over on BCC, the other side of our patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub. It's a classic. If you haven't heard it, and you still got a few days before Halloween, so perfect time to check that episode out. There's some scary stuff in that one.
Yes.
All right.
Is it better though? Is it better at all?
Yeah, it feels pretty ghost-free these days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
You're learning to live with them.
It's a spooky house, and I just accept it.
Okay.
I feel the energy's a little bit better in there, but
oh yeah. Okay, good. That's good. Well, you can't. You don't have to get rid. Sometimes
get that little feeling over the corner of my shoulder. I'm like, who's back there?
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to a sequel.
Yeah.
Also, that's just called living in them hills, man. I'm telling you, these
Those
hills out
hills.
here are teeming with shit. And I'm not fucking kidding around. Like, the Hollywood Hills and the environs are fucking weird out here.
I am concur. Like I do not like to get lost in those hills, and I almost got lost a few times. Even as I'm tuned in, I'm like, there is some shit out here. It's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of energy.
Sometimes I feel like shit just passes through my fucking house, and it's just going through.
The other day, right in front of my house, a massive owl flew right across my face, like 4 feet away from me, maybe.
Whoa, why didn't you tell us until now?
Swooped down and flew right by, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's rare, Riley. That's a good sign. I've
felt
always
good.
begging for that to happen. That's awesome.
It felt auspicious and cool, and I was like, oh, there you go. That's the hills. All right.
Love that. All righty. Well, thank you so much, Adela. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Adela.
Huge thanks to Adela, and huge thanks to you for writing in. And letter writers, please send us any updates if you got them. If any of those hit the nail on the head for you, we'd love to hear from you. And big thanks to you, all you other listeners, especially our friends who recently joined us over on the other side. And you know what? Because 10 wasn't freaky enough, it's time to think 13 freaky friends. You guys want to do this? These are recent people who've joined us over on our Patreon. Adam Smith.
Great. Welcome. Thank you, Adam.
Julie Jorg Splishal.
Thank you.
Tanya Stanford.
Thanks, Tanya.
Ben Kubitz.
Thanks, Ben.
David Cosmeteer.
Thanks, David. Welcome.
Danny Tammy Germani.
Thanks, Danny.
Why didn't I put that as my favorite name?
That's a good one.
Damn it. Carolyn Dyla, Cosmeteer.
Thank you, Carolyn. Welcome.
Rob Ritter, Cosmeteer.
Thanks, Rob. Welcome.
Ben Kingston, Cosmeteer.
Thank you, Ben. Welcome.
Kevin DeVos.
Thank you, Kevin.
Lore of the South, LOTS. I don't know if that's a podcast.
Thanks. All the same.
Bethany Beatty, Cosmeteer.
Thank you, Bethany. Welcome.
And I'm going to say my second favorite name of the week, Doze, Cosmeteer.
Doze, welcome. Wow, so many Cosmeteers. Oh,
I know.
Welcome, all of you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they're all joining Riley's Cosmic Cult. You can be a freaky friend when you join patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub and unlock total access to BCC, which includes 3 bonus episodes every month, merch discounts, access to the BCC Discord. Maybe we'll throw in the BBC one
It's a different
as well.
Discord.
And much more. Upgrade to the Cosmeteer membership to unlock 3 wonderful musical tracks from super producer Riley every month. I'm at McMills on Instagram. I want to remind everyone, a Zombie Bigfoot Clubhouse live stream is this Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Tickets at popsylounge.com right now. Go check out our previous shows on YouTube and get yourself a ticket.
Yes, there you go. I'm on those socials as well. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Bryce Johnson and on Twitter at Bryce O. Johnson. Are you watching Expedition Bigfoot Alaska? You should be. Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. on the Discovery Channel, coming to streaming November 2nd. I know you've been patiently waiting. It's your turn now. Can't wait for you to see it.
And I'm about to embark on tour with the name Tommy. We're making our way up. The name Tommy is the Instagram. I don't know why I said it like that.
Well, there you go. Follow the
but
name
follow
Tommy.
that. The band is called Tommy. We'll be making our way up the West Coast. So we'd love to meet you in person at a show. And also, speaking of shows, I just want to say, if you have not been to a live stream yet, this is the one to attend. And if you have been, then you already know how fun these are. And I look forward to seeing you all and chatting with you in the comments while it's all going on. It's a really good time. So come hang out. It's Halloween. Let's have fun.
Yeah, baby. Kick off
Yeah,
your Halloween
I think we're
weekend
going to
with
wear
the
a
boys.
costume. Are we going to costume up,
We're
boys?
going to costume. We're not telling each other
You
what we're
can't
going to
stop
wear.
me.
Okay,
It's going to be
great.
a
Can't stop
surprise.
it. Okay, great.
Perfect.
All right. We are going to cross over to the other side for our other Halloween tradition. It's the return of Zombie Bigfoot's Scary 16 Monster Showdown. I cannot wait.
Oh, boy.
If we don't see you over there, and if we don't see you at the live stream, we'll all be very sad, but we'll see you back here Wednesday for an all-new episode of Bigfoot Collectors Club. Until then, good night.
And go get regressed.
Happy Halloween!
Bigfoot Collectors Club is executive produced by Michael McMillan, Riley Bray, and Bryce Johnson. Our show is engineered, produced, and scored by Riley Bray. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters. Follow them on Spotify. Want more BCC? For exclusive full-length episodes every month and total access to the other side, check out patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.